Okay, we're here with a recap over what happened today. So, as we see, SPY pushed up. It opened up, and I waited till about 10 o'clock to kind of see what it was doing. And there were a couple of entries in the move today. So, it was a good day trade for longs. So I actually kind of paid attention, and I was looking back and forth between my open and SPY, and I kind of overlooked an entry right here rejecting that 200. That was a great entry off, three times it rejected the 200, and I could have entered right here because as you see, a powerful pull came and it was just off. So this is the first thing I wanted to notate, and it happened about I would say 9:54 would have been probably where I would have gotten in based off the passing of this candle's high, and then just let it go and do what it needed to do with my stop loss just back down at the 200, or like a snap below the 200 just in case it wanted to test it again. But as we see, it tapped in three times. So like I say, I was switching back and forth between this one and open, because I was trying to kind of see if I needed to get an exit out of open, because it went to a high. It didn't look like it was going to do too much higher than that. So I wanted to get out of that swing. But we actually watched it go up here, and I was tempted with flow with the I was tempted with the FOMO, but I held on to the bloodstained banner. It went up, and then it did a strong retest right here and retested off that 20, and I got my entry right here and let it go up. And so what happened was, this big candle right here, it didn't take me out. It wicked down to the 200 and was back up, so it didn't take me out of the trade. And in hindsight, when I got in here, I followed profit. So I got out break even because I moved to break even a little bit prematurely. Okay, so I got in again. And when I got in again, it drew back on me with all of this that you see here. And I went down like just a little $10 or something like that, because I was holding it tight just to kind of see if it looked like it was going to reverse or what it was going to do. But it took me out, and so I waited just for further confirmation. And when it broke back above this 20 right here, and it tapped in and retested, I got in again right here. So that was three trades for the day. Typically, I don't do more than two. In extenuating circumstances where you see like a powerful trend like this, I don't do more than four under any circumstances. I have lost it if I'm doing four. If I'm doing four, I'm doing too much. But I got in for the third and final and did come out in profit. It didn't hit the top take profit because I was following a little bit tighter, on the because I had already at that point, you're at the third when you're kind of a little bit more on guard, because that first trade didn't go the way you thought it would go because you're moving up too quickly. So one thing that I'm going to take from this, typically I do not move my stop loss until I have a break of the 20 in some form or fashion. So if there's a break and close in any regard below the 20, typically I would have moved, and tried to adjust for it here. Which with this wick right here, it would have, kind of danced around and then went back in the right direction. But in this case, because I saw the movement and it went up, the best decision would have been to leave my stop loss where it already was. When I entered here, my stop loss was back here somewhere. I should have left it alone until I got past this drawdown here, and I was up past it. So needless to say, like if I'm just getting in the trade and I have it to where it draws down and breaks that 20, I usually try to give it time. I was a little bit, kind of anxious today. I was trading with my mentor, So we were talking about so many other tickers. But needless to say, if um, if I was to do it again, I would leave my stop loss where it was and then wait until the drawdown and then this coming back here. Because what I'm going to risk in the trade is what I'm going to risk in the trade regardless. And it's a difference between the drawdown and then if you're high in profits and trying to take some of the profits anyway, you got to give it the room to move. And that's what I've struggled with, is knowing how much room to allow. That's why I switched. I'd still use that 5 as a little bit higher of a confirmation. But as you see, I mean, it's just still going. It's still going. So we're out of it now, unfortunately. But lesson learned, hold that stop loss here. And then once this move here happens, where we see it's moved beyond and the extra retest here, then moving that stop loss maybe here is smart. Looking at it in hindsight, seeing the movement and everything, then moving the stop loss here would be wise at that point. And then as you see, it's been moving since we got in at 10 on the 1022 candle, and it has yet to break since 1056. It has yet to break that 20 EMA. So we don't know where it's going to go at this point. At this point, it's, it's just moving. So that's a good just a measurement tool to know, how to get in, and then also not only how to get in, is how to get out as well. So we got profit, but we didn't get as much profit as intended for that, and still working on the trading psychology. And just my main thing is no longer structure, because my strategy is already what it is, and it's pretty solid. It's at this point when you're getting in, um staying in the good trades as long as possible is extremely important. So that's just something I wanted to document today. And we'll be back tomorrow. So we're still up, not up as much, but we're still up, and we're back on the streak of consistent profits since we drew down. I think it was 2 days ago, day before yesterday. I think up, yesterday up, today up. So it's more patterns. We have more of a track record now, where we're uh, hitting those take profits and actually having less losses. And so that's something that's a great thing. So the trading psychology is the next thing that is, I'm constantly working on that. The discipline and the trading psychology. Once you see it, not being fearful, being in, and you get up, you say, oh, I don't want to lose that profit. But what you plan the risk is what you plan the risk at the beginning of the day. Let the trade roll. If I lose it out, and that I do see one more entry where I can possibly take, and it's a solid entry, I still have another opportunity. After the second one, that's it. The only reason why I took the third opportunity, I just want to note this. The only reason why I took the third opportunity was because the very first trade was not a loss. It was a break even. And when I say break even, I mean it covered all of my brokerage fees, and there was a little bit of icing on the cake, so there was no loss at all. The second trade was a loss, but it wasn't much of a loss because the first trade actually had a tiny profit. So under those conditions, it's something like you're taking the second trade. Like if the first trade had been a loss, you got one more time to try to get it, and then after that we're done. But my first trade was actually slight profit. I call it break even because the profit was just so small, and I always drive um, a little bit closer into profit to cover brokerage fees versus being right at like break even, not accommodating for the brokerage fees. So that was it for today.